Planescape is a very bizarre setting, taking place in and around the multiverse. It caters to what gods and demons might be up to when us mere mortals are not begging for their attention. GameMasters here, and the gods and demons are just one element that is part of this Planescape setting. And while Planescape has been around since the advanced Dungeons & Dragons days, today's video is going to focus purely on the new 5th edition version as we take a thumb-through first look as to what it's all about. Now, why a thumb-through? My philosophy for this channel is this. Back in the day, we could go into a bookstore and thumb through the books to see if they're any good. Bookstores today are closing up left and right. The local game stores are closing up, and the purchasing alternative is online. They don't exactly lend themselves to being able to flip through the pages. That's where my channel comes in. I'm not going to give a complete page-by-page turn, but I do want to flip through the pages so that you guys can decide if the set of books is right for you. With that, let's check them out. We've got 3 books in this Planescape collection. Morte's Planar Parade, this set's version of the Monster Manual, Turn of Fortune's Wheel, which is the adventure itself, and we'll look at those in a moment, but the main book is Sigil and the Outlands. First thing I gotta do is check out the disclaimer. It reads, "The factions of the City of Doors are not responsible for symptoms associated with accidentally happening upon the cage. Please consult your doctor if you experience any of the following: upset stomach, nausea, existential dread, calithrophobia, or an irresistible urge to wax poetic about philosophies relating to the multiverse." Now it mentions the cage, and we'll delve into that and into what that is in a future video. But over here is the table of contents, and we can see that the book itself is broken down into 3 chapters, and peppered throughout the book are various maps, and I like that they at least gave us page numbers for those. Turning the page, we get an overview as to how to use this book, but also a breakdown of what each chapter holds. Chapter 1 will provide us with how players can use the new character options. Chapter 2 introduces us to the Lady of Pain, and Chapter 3 covers the Outlands and details other locations. Again, Chapter 1 is all about character options, and we'll look at those in a future video as well. Chapter 2 covers Sigil itself, which is a large round city, and here you can kind of see somewhat of an overview of what it looks like. This chapter also breaks down the various factions found within Sigil, and we did a video a few days back covering those factions, and I'll pin a link in the comments if you want to check those out. And this guy looks cool, Fel, a Dabus. Looks like he runs a tattoo shop where magical tattoos can be given to players. Okay. So we are looking at the various wards where the factions can be found. Wards are like smaller cities within the city of Sigil. And, the Under Sigil. Okay, now, before we jump into the Under Sigil, I need to thank these Lady of Pain supporters. Their contributions to my channel make it so that I don't need to run sponsored ads, which we all hate. If you'd like to see how you can contribute, I'll leave information down in the description. Okay, the Under Sigil. This is the realm below. Basically, it's the underbelly of Sigil, where shady deals take place, where life-altering bargains can be made, where murder, chaos, mayhem, and other sinister plots take root. Yeah, we'll certainly be checking this location out in a future video. Chapter 3 delves into the Outlands, which is the lands and areas below Sigil, Glorium, Ribcage, Sylvania, and then we have the overall map, which shows what's where in the Outland, but on the opposite side is the map of Sigil itself, which we covered in that same factions video that I'll be pinning down in the comments. The next book is Turn of Fortune's Wheel, and this is the adventure book that should take the players from level 1 up to about a level 14. Because it's a book of adventure, I'm going to cover up the table of contents. I don't want to give away any major spoilers there, but it does have a disclaimer which reads, "Fortune's Wheel welcomes guests and currencies from all planes, realities, and timelines. The house takes no responsibility for any harm, financial, physical, existential, or otherwise, ensured during games of chance, in interactions with guests or house security, or by running afoul of the proprietor. Gamble responsibly." Okay, here's a tiny little peeky spoiler of the table of contents. Looks like we have beginning of the end. That sounds ominous. And glitch characters? That sounds pretty interesting, but no more spoilers. I can tell you that this adventure is broken down into 15 chapters, and like the book covering Sigil, it too has maps with their page numbers listed, but no more spoilers. Morte's Planar Parade. As mentioned, this one is the Planescape Monster Manual, and it too has a disclaimer. And here's a little cranium rat. We'll cover him in a future video. Okay, the disclaimer reads, "Everything in this book is true except the parts that ain't. The planes change, coins and threats adjust a few details, boring bits get more colorful. You know how it is. What's what? You're a cagey sort, Chief. I know you'll figure it out. That's a bit cryptic. But then again, I'm sure it's Morte that's citing that. He's the floating skull you'll see on the cover of the book and also kind of throughout the book. We also have a table of contents and what looks to be just over 50 monsters listed. The pages are also really thick. The intro to this book explains how to use stat blocks. Basically, look at the original monster manual. How you use them there is how you'll use them here. It also explains what the petitioners are, and it lists the monsters by challenge rating. Some of the monsters also have planar influences, and this page kind of explains all of that. While we flip through the monsters, I'll explain the petitioners. They basically were once mortal, then died, and became an inhabitant of a specific plane. There's a little more to it, but that's the basics. Oh, okay, here are the cranium rats. And remember Fel, the Dabus from the Sigil book? This is the Dabu stat block, and I'll look at them in a bit more depth at a closer video as well. Oh, the Eater of Knowledge. These guys are really wicked. They eat brains and then report back to mind flayers, and they can extract that information by eating the brains, but it's odd that they only have a challenge rating of 6. and Modrons, they're here in Planescape too. I'll spoil a little of the adventure. A good portion of it involves these guys, and you can see Morte hanging out here as well. I mean, it looks like we've got a good selection of monsters. I'm excited to dig into them and see just how crazy they will ultimately be. There is also a set of tables here for planar encounters covering the various alignments: chaotic, evil, good, lawful, and neutral. This is what you get: Morte's Book of Monsters, an adventure, and a book detailing the setting itself. Oh, and we also get this neat DM screen chock full of information specific to Planescape. And there's a kind of neat little purple foil embossed emblem here in the corner. It's kind of neat and purpley shiny. Oh, and for those who want to see the covers of the collector's edition, here is Morte's Planar Parade, and on the back is a quote from him. And we have the cover for Sigil and the Outlands featuring a stylized image of the Lady of Pain, along with a quote from Aaron Montgomery on the back, and the cover for Turn of Fortune's Wheel with a quote from Shemishka on the back. We also get a DM screen. It's the same information inside, but new artwork on the back side of it. While I've not fully delved deep into each of these books, in my initial thumb through, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing. If you liked it, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, but let me know down in the comments what's an element of this Planescape book setting that you are most wanting to know. What's your burning question? Talk to me down in the comments, and I'll try to include it in a future video when we do a deeper dive into specific sections of each book. And if you'd like to see those videos, be sure to bookmark this playlist so you don't miss it. It's only going to grow as I add more Planescape videos to it. I think for me, I'm mostly wanting to know more about the Under Sigil. But comment below and with your questions, and until next our paths cross, may the Lady of Pain go easy on you.